Welcome to Colored Pencil Level 1. The first thing you need to do is get a Colored Pencil Techniques sheet and 5 colored pencils, any colors that you want. Pause this video and get your supplies ready. The first thing that we're going to do is get your name and class at the top of your paper. Do that along with me now. The first thing we're going to do is learn to control the pressure of the pencil. Why do we need to do this? Take a look at this flower. You can see in the dark parts, the artist has pressed really hard. The medium values, where they press kind of in the middle with their pencil, and the light parts is where they barely touch the paper with their pencil. Let's practice now. We'll start by learning to control the pencil and control the amount of pressure that we put on it. So in the first box, what I want you to do is to really lightly color and go over and over and over to fill in all of the white spots. Your goal is to make sure that there's no white showing at all. In the medium one, you're going to press a little bit harder. You're welcome to turn the pencil and color in the other direction, but you want to try to cover that up so you can't see the pencil mark, so it looks nice and smooth. And then for the dark one, you're going to press pretty hard and add lots of layers of color. All right, now it's your turn. Pause this video and do your pressure practice. The next technique that you are going to learn is cross-hatching, and you can see here that it's really a series of lines, some going in one direction and the other going the opposite direction, kind of like making a checkerboard. And when the lines are close together, it makes the value appear darker. And when the lines are farther apart, it looks a bit lighter. Let's practice. Here we go. Take a look at your first box, and what I want you to do is to make some diagonal lines going across and then some diagonal lines going the other way. And there should be quite a bit of distance in between those lines. And for the medium tones, our lines are going to get closer together to get a little bit of a darker value. And for the darkest value, just like the underside, the shadowy side of that ball, we're going to put the same type of diagonal lines except quite close together. So then when you look at it, it appears a lot darker. All right, that's it. Pause this video and practice cross-hatching. Before we start with our next technique, I wanted to show you this portrait by an artist named John Smolko, and he uses the scribbling technique with lots of different colors to create value. How cool is that? Another way to create value is scribbling. They're actually tiny, little, tightly controlled lines. For the light ones, you're going to leave a lot of space in between so you can see some of that paper showing through. For the medium, you're going to get even smaller little scribbles in there. And then for the dark ones, even smaller, so you can see the difference in value between the light, the medium, and the dark. All right, it's your turn. Give it a go. Pause this video and try scribbling. All right, and the next technique we're going to practice is called light pressure blending. You can see in this apple that the colors are blended together, but it's with pretty light pressure. You can still see some of the paper showing through. Let's practice. Okay, you're going to need 2 colors of pencil for light pressure blending. I'm going to turn my paper around so it's easy for me to color in one direction. Feel free to do that if you need to. On one end of the rectangle, I am pressing down a little bit hard, I'd say about medium pressure, and then as I go to the middle, I slowly get lighter and lighter and lighter. So I'm reinforcing, getting darker at one end, and lighter and lighter and lighter as I come to the middle. Now take your second color and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to take yellow in this case, and I'm starting at one end, pressing hard on the end, and then very, very slowly and carefully getting lighter and lighter and lighter as I go towards the middle. That way I don't get two blocks of colors, but the colors are actually blended together in the middle. Do you see that? Okay, it is your turn. Please get two pencils, pause this video, and try light pressure blending. Now in this apple, the artist used heavy pressure blending, so they pressed harder and they added lots of layers of color so that you can't really see the paper through. That is what we are going to try on the next one. In this one, I want you to use the same colors you use for the light pressure so we can see the difference. You're going to do the exact same thing that you did before, except you are going to press pretty hard and you are going to just lay more layers and more layers and more layers of color down until you can't see the paper through very well. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit so that you can see what it looks like at the end. Now you'll notice I'm going to turn my paper around because it's more comfortable for me to color in a direction with my paper facing that way. So feel free, turn the paper however you need to turn it. I'm pressing quite hard with my yellow and I'm going to go right into my red and overlap until I get a nice solid color. All right, are you ready? It is your turn. Pause this video and practice heavy pressure blending. Okay, so you have just finished your colored pencil techniques, but before Miss Jolene or myself will sign off on it, I want you to go back and have a look at each one to make sure it is done as well as you possibly could do it. So take a look first at the pressure practice. Make sure when you look at the light one, you don't see individual pencil marks. It's very, very smooth and it's inside the lines. Same thing with the medium. The medium should be darker than the light one and you shouldn't be able to see individual pencil marks. Now look at your dark one. Your dark one should have no visible white paper in it at all. Now move on to the cross hatching. So check it out. The cross hatching, the light one, the cross hatching, the lines should be pretty far apart. The medium should be closer together than the light one. And then of course, the dark one, your lines should be pretty darn close together. Okay? The same idea for the scribbling. For the scribbling, the light one should be the scribble should be far apart so you can see a lot of that paper. The medium is in the middle and the dark one should obviously be the darkest because the scribbles are pretty close together. Have a look at the blending. This is what trips a lot of kids up. When you look at the blending, the yellow and the red, whatever two colors you chose, should be blended together in the middle. You shouldn't have like a block of yellow and a block of red. They should be blended together in the middle. Dark getting to the light part, dark moving to the light part over there. Check that light pressure blending. And then for the heavy pressure blending, it's the same thing. There should not be a line in between the two there. No, they should be blended together in the middle. And another thing with the heavy pressure blending, there should be no paper showing at all, no white paper. It should be quite dark in here. So check over that first, and if you're confident you're ready to roll, raise your hand for Miss Jolene or I to come and check it off.